Hi everyone. In the last session, we discussed the concept of nested loops. After that, we have implemented the C programs to find the reverse of a given number and to find out the sum of digits of a given number. In today's class, we are going to see the more theoretical concept of nested loops. After that, we will implement the programs using nested loops. So let us have the discussion about the nested loops. Now, before going into the details of nested loops, here you consider the output is like this. Here I am taking the output like this. Now in the output we have three rows. How many rows? Three rows. This is row 1 and this is row 2 and this is row 3. To print the first star, we can use printf star, right? To print second star, you can use printf star. To print third star, right, you can use printf star. If you want to print the fourth star, we write printf star, right? It prints 4 stars. How many printf statements are we are using? 4 printf statements. See, writing the same printf statement 4 times is somewhat meaningless. It is meaningful, but this is not the good programming practice. So instead of writing printf statement, you must have an idea that why don't we use only one printf statement that is repeated 4 times. So we are going to loop the one printf statement 4 times. That is the main objective of looping, right? So that's why we have used to print these one printf statement 4 times or n times. We are using loops concept, right? This already we discussed. To print one row 1, we need just assumption one loop. To print row 2, another loop. To print third row, 3 loop. Now, shall we write the program like this? For example, for loop and one printf, right? And another for loop, one printf star. This is for first row and this is for second row star. And another printf for and printf star. Shall we use 3 loops for this? If you use these 3 loops, then it is also not good programming practice. So instead of using these 3 for loops, better to use only few number of loops. One is for outer for, another one is for inner loop. So for this purpose, how to use the concept of nested loops? What I want to say is, if there are n number of rows, shall we use n number of loops? No. If you use n number of loops, again it is not a good programming practice. Means you are not a computer science student. So don't think as a layman. Please think as a computer science student, and you have to think in such a way that which is the efficient method to print this output. So if there are n rows, don't use the n number of loops. Instead of using n number of loops, we are going to write only one loop that is repeated many times. There the concept of nested loops comes in, right? I think it is understood for you. So we will see more examples. Now, in the programs, what we are going to do is, we are going to implement the programs for printing the output like this. The first output we are going to see like this. 3 stars next to 4 stars. This is one kind of output we want to display. And second one is in reverse. Any number of rows you can have, but some examples we are going to see. We are going to print this type of output in the programs. This is the first output we are going to print, and this is the second output we are going to print. After that, Third one we are going to discuss is how to print this kind of input. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And another in output we want to display is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1. And fifth one we are going to print like this: 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. And another in output we are going to discuss about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the 6 different types of programs we are going to implement. After these 6 outputs, next we are going to discuss how to print a mathematical table using nested loops. So these are the different types of programs we are going to implement. So at the time of executing the programs, I will explain each and every statement in detail. So let us go to the C programs. Now we will see C programs using Visual Studio Code to print the patterns that we have discussed just now. So enter into the Visual Studio Code. Now go to a new file here and name the file name as pattern.c. Pattern.c. Right, first you write the comment program, you write program to print the multiple patterns. Okay, first I'm going to write the first pattern. Next hash include stdio.h int main opening brace parenthesis. Now here, so we are going to use the concept of nested loops. If you use two loops, there is a need to declare two counter variables or two variables, like I'm declaring integer I comma j, integer I comma j. Now after reading these two variables, to enter the required number of rows as an input, take the variable n. So in the example just we have seen in the pattern, so in the first pattern we have 4 rows. Not only 4 rows, you can write any number of rows. To enter the number of rows runtime, we are using the variable n. Now you say printf, you say enter number of rows, number of rows, slash n and semicolon, and you write scanf percentage d double quotes close ampersand n. After reading the n value, then what you do is you enter into the first for loop. This is outer for loop, right? For I equals to 0, and you say after this I is less than or equals to n I plus plus. After this, go to the body of the for. Within the first for, you write another for. It uses the variable j. You say j equals to 1 and j is less than or equals to I. Why I'm saying this? Why? Because to print the first pattern. J plus plus, right? Next you write opening brace and closing brace. Within this you write printf. I'm using slash t. Why? Because to print the empty spaces, slash t prints 3 empty spaces. So at the time of discussing escape sequence characters, we have used slash t, right? After printing 3 spaces, I'm going to print star. To get the clear output, I'm writing slash t. Okay, now this inner for prints the stars j times, After printing, that means it prints this for loop prints the first row. After printing the first row, the cursor should come to the next row, right? So outside this block, I'm writing printf. To move the cursor to the next line, I'm using slash n. This is also an escape sequence character. Right now, we have completed the code. After that, I'm writing return 0. This is the return 0, which corresponding to the main, right? So with this, we have completed the program coding. So now we will see whether there are any errors. Once there are no errors, then we go to the execution part line by line. Let us execute this. You see this, it is asking the enter number of rows. Here assume that I am giving 4. Whenever you give n value is 4, then we are going to get the first pattern. You see this. See, instead of printing star here at this place, we are printing star here. Why? Because every time it is printing 3 spaces. It is leaving 3 spaces, and after that it is printing first star. Next, in the next line also it is leaving 3 spaces and it is printing first star. Again it is leaving 3 spaces and it prints second star. So, to get the space between the stars, I have used slash t. Right now, for example, if you give the number of n as 5, I'm giving the value 5. Now we will get the output like this. To get the first pattern, just you give the n value as 4. Now how these stars will be printed? Now I will explain how the first pattern means 4 rows will be displayed by using this for. Now, okay, I'm going to explain the execution part. So every C program starts with the execution main, right? After that, we are going for the declaration part. In the declaration part, we have declared the 3 variables: I for the outer for loop, j for the inner for loop. So whenever we want to iterate the same kind of statements, we need a counter variable which whose counting starts with 1, next incremented by 1, and so on. It is used to repeat the loop. So that's why we call it as the counter variable. Now I is the counter variable for the outer for, and j is the counter variable for the inner for. Okay, we are reading n value as 4. Now come to the first for. First I becomes 0, right? First initialization. And next condition, 0 is less than or equals to 4. Yes, the condition is true. Now once the condition is true, what happened? We are entering into this block. Whose block it is? Outer for. This entire highlighted portion belongs to the outer for. So by entering into the outer for, we are going for the inner for. Now here j is initialized to 1, right? J is initialized to 1. Now after initialization, again you have to test the condition, right? Now j value how much? 1. I value how much? 0. First time in the first outer for loop, I became 0, right? So j value 1 and I value how much? 0. Sorry, sorry, wait. Now better to take I value as 1, not 0. Okay, j I value 1. Please initialize I equals to 1, right? Now here j equals to 1 and j is less than or equals to I. If you take 0, the condition becomes false, right? So start from I equals to 1. You will get the same output. So in this case, j value is 1 and I value is 1. 1 is less than or equals to 1. Yes, the condition is true. When this condition is true, then it prints the printf statement. This printf statement is executed. So it prints 3 spaces, after that star. A star, 1 star is displayed here. How many stars? This star is displayed. Okay. Now after displaying the star, this control, this closing brace sends the control to j plus plus. J plus plus. J plus plus is nothing but incrementing the j value by 1. So now j value is incremented by 1. Now what is the new value of j? 2. Now after becoming 2, it tests the condition like this. 2 is less than or equals to sorry, j equals to 2. Now I value how much? Previously 1. 2 is less than or equals to 1. No, condition becomes false. When the condition becomes false, then this printf statement is not executed, right? Now it crosses this block and it goes to this last printf statement. In the last printf statement, it prints the slash n, means it moves the cursor to the next line. Means after printing 1 star, the cursor is moved to the next line. Okay. Now after printing this printf statement slash n to move the cursor to the next line, it executes the closing brace. This is the closing brace for which loop? Outer for loop. This outer for loop closing brace sends the control to I plus plus. Okay. Now in this case, now I value how much? I value becomes 2. Okay. After becoming I value 2, now it tests the condition again. I is less than or equals to n means 2 is less than or equals to 4. Yes, the condition is true. See, again this for loop, second for loop is executed starting from j equals to 1 and test the condition j1 is less than or equals to yes. Again the printf statement is executed. So this process is repeated for the second row. Next to again after executing the second row, next is this closing brace sends the control to I plus plus. So like that, see if I equals to 1 for the outer for loop, then the inner for loop j is executed. How many times? First, multiple times. First, it has printed 1 star. Second time, it is going to print 2 stars. So, in the second case, what happened? J value 1 and 1 is less than or equals to 2. Yes. So, here printf statement is executed and it prints 3 spaces after that slash star. After printing the first star, second time, what happened? It prints the star. After in the second iteration, it prints star. After that, after this closing brace sends the control to the j plus plus. Now in this case j value becomes 2. Now again the condition is tested. 2 is less than or equal to yes. The condition is again true. Again this printf statement is executed. Now again it is going to print the second star. Where here I am writing in comments in the same line, but the last 2 stars are printed in the okay in the second line, right? So after executing this, again j value is incremented by 1. Now j becomes 3. 3 is less than or equals to 2. No, condition is false. In this case, the printf statement is not executed. Now this printf statement is executed. It moves the cursor to the next line. So first it prints star and it goes to the next line. In the second line, these 2 stars printed. After printing these 2 stars, next the control moves to the second line. Again, it goes to I, and now I value becomes 2. So like that, it is going to print the all rows one by one. Now, the important thing here is if there are only one statement, if there is only one statement to printf which comes under this for, no need of writing this opening brace and closing brace. You can remove. If you don't want these opening brace and closing braces, you can remove. Why? Because there is only one printf which belongs to inner for. But if you want to write, you can write. Okay, no problem. So once again, I will execute this program. It is asking enter the number of rows. I am giving 4. Now it is printing that. See here, in the first for I equals to 1, then second for loop is executed and it prints 1 star. Now second time for the for I becomes 2, then the inner for loop is executed 2 times. Now first for I becomes 3, the inner 3 displays 3 stars. Next time I value becomes 4, and then the 4 stars are displayed by the inner for. And finally, the outer for I value becomes 5. 5 is less than or equals to 4. No. Then the outer for loop is terminated. When the outer for loop is terminated, only when the condition of the outer for is false, then it goes to the statement return 0 where the main program terminates. So this is the output, okay, or this is the program to print the first pattern which we have discussed. Now, how to get the second output? To get the second pattern, just same logic, but I'm going to change the outer for. So in the outer for, what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize I equals to as n. Okay. Now reverse the condition, then I equals to n, then you say I is greater than or equals to 1. So I'm just reversing the outer for loop, I equals to n and I is greater than or equals to 1. Then you have to say I minus minus. That's all. This is a simple change you have to do in the first program to get the second pattern. So we will run it. You see, you enter 4 or anything. Now you see here. Okay, so we are printing the second pattern. Okay, now to print the third pattern, what you have to do? Again, you have to do some small modifications, right? So first pattern prints the stars. Second pattern also prints the stars. Okay, Second pattern is the reverse of the first one. Okay. Now what you do is to print the third pattern, you start again from I equals to 1 and you say I is less than or equals to n, I is less than or equals to n. Then you say I plus plus, I plus plus. Same thing I'm writing for the as for the as like a pattern one. Okay. But here instead of printing star, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the value. That's all. So star is printed by the inner for, right? So depending upon the j value of for, stars we are printing. So in the similar way, just you print the value of j, that's all. Then you will get the third pattern. So logic is same, but here we are printing the j value. First j value we are printing 1. Next to we print the j values as 1, 2. In the next line 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Next line 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that the values are printed. Just j values. Let us see the output for this. See, it is asking the number of rows. For example, I am giving like this. You see 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Nothing I am doing. Just simply I am changing some of the code. So instead of printing star here, I have written percentage %d and just I am printing the value of j. So as you know, already I explained I equals to first one and I is less than or equals to 4. 1 is less than or equal. Yes, it enters into the inner for loop. In the inner for loop, j value becomes 1. 1 is less than or equals to 1. Yes, the condition is true. When the condition is true, then it prints 3 spaces. After that, it prints the value of j. How much? 1. Then closing brace sends the control to j plus plus. J value becomes 2. 2 is less than or equals to 1? No. The condition is false. Then this block is terminated and the control is passed to the printf statement and it moves the cursor to the next line. After printing 1, it moves to the next line. Now go to the closing brace. It sends the control to I plus plus. I value becomes now 2. Next, test the condition 2 is less than or equal to 4. Yes. Again go to inner for loop. J becomes 1 and 1 is less than or equals to 2. Yes, the condition is true. Then it prints again the j value. How much? 1. After printing j value 1, closing brace, this closing brace sends the control to j plus plus. Now j value becomes 2. Now again the condition is tested. 2 is less than or equals to 1, 2. 2 is less than or equal to, yes. I value become 2, right? 2 is less than or equal to, yes. Again it prints j value as 2. Next closing brace, it sends the control to again j plus plus. J value becomes 3. 3 is less than or equals to 2. No, in this case, the condition is false. This block is not executed. It goes to printf and it moves the cursor to the next line. Again, this closing brace sends the control to outer for I. Here I value becomes 3. So this is repeated as long as the outer for loop where I value becomes 5 and n value becomes 4. The condition becomes false. This for loop is terminated and it goes to return 0. So everything is same as the previous program, but some modifications, right? Okay, now to print the fourth pattern, what you have to do, just as I change the values previously, just you put I equals to n here. Now you say I is greater than or equals to 1. That's all. Now you say I minus minus. Okay, that's all. Now if you execute this, you say the input is 4. You see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. That's all. This is the fourth output, right? Now to get the fifth output, what you have to do? To get the fifth output, one thing you have to do is, again you start from I equals to 1 and you say I is less than or equals to n and I plus plus, small modifications I am using. Everything is same, but instead of printing j here, you print I value. You print I value. Okay. Instead of printing j value, I am printing I value. Now let us see the output. Just to see. Sorry, here one error is there. Okay, wait. Now you can run it. Okay, it is asking the number of rows. Here I am writing 4. You see here. we are getting the fifth one, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, like this. How this output is printed? See, just I value 1, n value I is less than or equals to 4, yes. Come to j, j equals to 1, 1 is less than or equals to 1, yes. So here in the printing j value, we are printing I value. I value how much? 1. Next to j value how much? J is incremented by 1, 1, right? 2. J becomes 2. Now you check it. 2 is less than or equals to 1? No. Condition is false. This statement is not executed. Okay. It moves the cursor to the next line and it goes to closing brace. It sends the control to I plus plus. And now I value becomes 2. 2 is less than or equal to 4. Yes. Again it enters into this. J equals to 1. Yes. J is less than or equals to I. I value 2. So 2 times I will be printed. I value how much? 2. Next to 3 times I value is printed. Right? So this is the output. This is the fifth pattern we are going to get. Now how to get the sixth pattern? Right? Sixth pattern is just you have to print 1 in the next row, 2, 3, next to. So every time the value must be increased. To get this output, what you do is, I'm going to use another variable count. I'm using another variable count. Why? Because first I'm initializing count as 1. Next I'm printing 1. Next I'm going to increment it. Okay. That's the logic I'm going to use. After in the inner loop, what I'm going to do is, after j plus plus, I'm saying count plus plus. You can also say like this, count plus plus. See, this is the initialization and this is the condition. This is incrementation. So not only j plus plus, you can also add another increment variable like this count plus plus. It is valid. Okay. Or you can do one thing. You can remove this count plus plus, right? You can remove this count plus plus and you can say after the printf statement, after this printf statement, you can say count plus plus. This is also valid. So instead of adding count plus plus here, you can write this count plus plus statement after saying j plus plus comma, right? By saying comma, right? So this is valid. Now let us see what is the output we are going to do. So here instead of printing I, now the thing you have to print is count. Okay. Now we will see what is the output of this. Okay, run it. Again, it is asking enter the number of rows. I'm writing it as 4. It is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So we got the sixth output. So if I want to explain, just to count how much first 1, I value 1. So same thing here. So j value 1, 1 is less than or equals to 1. Yes, the condition is true. Then it prints the count first. Initially count equals to 1. Next it is incremented. Next it becomes 2. Okay. So first it prints 1. Next it is going to print 2, 3. 2 and 3. Okay. Next 3 and 4. So this is about the sixth output. Now the last thing is how to print the seventh one, mathematical table. I'm going to print mathematical table. So for that, I'm going to write a different program for that. Now we will see program to print mathematical table. Okay, math M-A-T mathematical table.c. For this, I'm going to write separate program. I'm writing program to print mathematical table. Mathematical table. Okay, you write hash include stdio.h int main. Once you know the concept of nested loops, it is very easy to understand integer I, comma j, and n. You say printf. Now I'm writing enter number of mathematical tables. Right. Next I'm writing slash n Now you read scanf percentage d double quotes close comma ampersand n, right? Now you do one thing. I'm using for how many I equals to 1, 1 to number of tables. If n you give n equals to 10, it prints 1 to 10 mathematical tables, right? I is less than or equals to n, and you say I plus plus. So in every mathematical table, just we write 1 ja, 1 2 ja up to 10 only, right? So same concept I'm using for second inner loop. I'm starting from j equals to 1 and I'm going for only up to 10. Next j plus plus, right? Now you say here, now printf. I'm using slash t to print in the clear form percentage d into slash t percentage d is equals to slash t percentage d and slash n. Okay, to print the spaces only I'm using slash t. First percentage d is I, second percentage d is j, and third percentage d is I into j, right? Now after this same you use printf slash n to move the cursor to the next line. Okay, now after the first for loop, what I'm saying is I'm going to print a message like this, printf. So I'm going to print like this. First, one's mathematical table, two's mathematical table, three's mathematical table, right? For this, what I'm going to do is I'm writing percentage d's means ones. After percentage d, I want to print apostrophe, right? To print apostrophe or single quotes, don't write single quotes. It is not printed. It will give error. To print single quotes also, we need escape sequence character slash, and you write single quote. Then only this single quote will be printed. So I'm writing S means it says one's table, two's table like that. Okay, percentage D is mathematical table. Here I'm using slash n. Okay, now after this last statement, after this you write return 0. This is the last statement. Now you save it and check whether there are any errors or not. So entire number of mathematical tables. Assume that I want 10 mathematical tables. I'm writing 10. You see here. Now, so it is printing only last one. If you go to, so see here, scroll it. Okay, so spaces are not proper. Okay, now we will do spacing correctly. See, instead of writing this slash t first, better to write here slash t. Okay, percentage d space star space percentage d, and here better to write space here. Now, okay, now before printing this, you print space t. Okay, now you execute it. Number of tables, you can say any number, but I'm writing here now 5. You say this 5 means first to 5. You scroll up, you see here getting too much of space. 1 z 1 1 2 z 2. Okay, if you want to if you don't want the space, just you do one thing, just you remove these last two. Too much space we are getting. If you don't want space, just you remove it. Okay, you remove it and directly you can execute. If you want a space, then you can use slash n slash t. Here I am writing it. You see here this. Okay, you see this. So zeros mathematical table once. Just wait, it is not, every time it is giving zeros. Just okay, some not zeros mathematical table, right? It is saying zeros. See here, it is saying zeros mathematical table. Percentage is mathematical, it is saying zeros mathematical table. So here we are not mentioning this I, we have to print here I, print I. That is a mistake. So if you don't mention I, by default it is printing 0. In place of percentage D, it is printing 0, right? So you type here I. Now you run it. Now if you say 4, you see here. Once mathematical table 1, next fourth mathematical table, like that it is going to print. So better to write spacing here to get the clear output. Two's mathematical table, next to three's mathematical table, you see. Four's mathematical table. So if you want space, you can write space. Okay, now better to write percentage 2D. Here also percentage 2D. Here I am writing percentage 2D. 2D means two spaces. We will check it. Okay, slash T means three spaces. 2D means only two spaces. Okay, you see, some space is coming. So that is your choice to write slash T. Okay, this is up to you. So this is a program to print mathematical table. I think I don't want to explain this same program again. Why? Because you know how inner loop is executed and how outer loop is executed. So in place of percentage D here, so it prints the value of I. In the second percentage D, it prints the value of J. In the last percentage D, it prints the value of I into J. Means I is multiplied with J and the result is stored here. Now star is displayed as it is and equals to symbol is displayed as it is. So these are the different programs using nested loops. With this, I'm going to close the session. Thank you for watching.